I'm pleased that Mr. McGovern, there you are, that Representative McGovern, who is sponsor of the SHIPA bill, is arrived, and thank you so much for that and for coming.
Well, let me thank Joan, and let me thank all of the wonderful people who are standing behind me here today. I want to also recognize my colleague, Congressman Jim Oberstar, who has been a leader on truck safety issues for many, many, many years. I want to thank everyone who worked to make the sorrow to strengthen conference such a success. And look, if people are not moved by these stories and moved to actually advocate for tougher oversight of the trucking industry, I don't know what will move people. And we're now engaged in this debate as to not just whether or not we need tougher oversight in terms of the current truck size or truck weights. We have a new effort going on in the trucking industry to increase truck sizes and increase truck weights, which will result in more stories like the ones you have just heard. 2 weeks ago, I reintroduced the Safe Highways and Infrastructure Preservation Act, which would maintain the common sense truck size and weight limits on our highway. My SHIPA bill was introduced with 6 bipartisan original co-sponsors, 3 Democrats and 3 Republicans. Last year, the bill had 130 bipartisan co-sponsors, and I'm confident that we're going to attract the same, if not more, support for the bill this time around. We've heard all the supporters of big trucks make various and often dubious claims about the economic benefits of bigger trucks. They say that big trucks will be more efficient or result in fewer trucks on the road. Unfortunately, the evidence doesn't support these claims. The simple fact of the matter is that big trucks don't pay their fair share for the damage that they cause to our roads and our bridges. And you know, I made the comment earlier that members of Congress should be moved by these stories and compelled to action, but we seem to be in an environment where all that matters is, you know, the bottom line and money, you know, and cutting and deficit cutting. Well, if that's what moves members of Congress, they should know that to those who want to increase truck weights to 97,000 pounds, that these supersized rigs only pay 50% of the cost of the damage that they create. To those who claim that states should have the sole authority to decide if bigger trucks and heavier trucks should be allowed on our roads, I ask them, who's going to pay for the massive damage to our roads and our bridges? We know that the Highway Trust Fund is woefully underfunded, and nearly every state is facing a projected budget shortfall in fiscal year 2012. If states are serious about increasing truck size and weight, they have to be honest about the increased cost of doing so and figure out how they're going to pay for it. The fact is, there's no way to pay for the cost. Not just the cost in terms of the wear and tear on roads and bridges, but the cost, the human cost that come with bigger trucks and heavier trucks. You know, it's not fair, you know, to allow this movement to go forward to increase truck size and truck weights and just put the entire burden on the backs of local communities and say you're stuck with the damage, you got to fix it on your own. I know that for many of you, including many of our speakers, the financial cost associated with big trucks isn't the main reason why you're here. Too many of you know firsthand the tragic safety costs that these big rigs impose on our motorists. And big trucks are dangerous. It's that simple. They're more likely to be involved in crashes. It's that simple. And I'm willing to bet that nearly everyone here can think of a time when they've been driving on the highway and looked in their rearview mirror to see a big truck closing in on them. And it's nerve-wracking, to say the least. As the House and Senate begin work on the highway reauthorization bill, we have an opportunity to say loud and clear, no to bigger and heavier trucks. By sharing the stories of their loved ones, Chris, Alan, Brandy, Anthony, Chuck, Teresa, James, Anthony, Amber, and Orby, these brave victim advocates remind us that while the economic costs of big trucks are great, the human costs are greater. These stories should break your heart. And I want to thank them for standing up and speaking out against bigger trucks and heavier trucks, and I want to thank them for their responsible call for better oversight of the trucking industry. This is an important issue. It is an important safety issue. It is an important economic issue, and Congress needs to get this right. And I look forward to working with all of you to make sure that as we move forward on the highway reauthorization bill, we get the language that we need to stop this movement toward bigger, heavier, and heavier trucks. We don't need trains on our highways. I thank you very much for letting me come by.